Hello and welcome to this introductory video for the Game Launcher Creator. My name's Danny and I'm the lead developer here at ByteBox Media. I'm here to introduce you to Game Launcher Creator just to give you an insight as to what it is and what it can do. Game Launcher Creator has been in development for about a year now. We've got quite a bit of a user base, and it's definitely covering a lot of problems, and it's helping solve a lot of problems when it comes to creating game launchers for your games. Now, one of the advantages to the Game Launcher Creator, or using the Game Launcher Creator, is the fact that it is compatible with any game from any engine, from any authoring tool, or whether you've just coded your game up in C++ or C# or whatever it is, whether it's Unity, whether it's the Unreal Engine, whether it's ClickTeam Fusion, whether it's Construct, Game Guru, FPS Creator, the list goes on. So whatever you've developed your game in, you can build a launcher with it with the Game Launcher Creator. And I'm going to show you in this video exactly how it works. So what I'm going to do in this introductory video, this is using version 1.5.1, which is the latest version to date. As this video gets older and older, there will be new versions released. However, what I'm going to do is, rather than just show you the software itself, I'm going to show you how you can create a game launcher and from scratch using Game Launcher Creator, so you can see how easy it is. But obviously, I'm not just going to whip through it in this video. I'm going to take my time a little bit and just show you the features and how it all comes together. So I'm going to go back to one of my old softwares, Macromedia Fireworks 8. I'm quite old school, quite stubborn when it comes to graphic design, so I tend to stick with what I know. And Fireworks 8, it goes back for years and years. And it still works, so I'm happy. I'll stick with that. So as you can see, I've just got some pre-assembled graphics here. I've got these from a website called pixabay.com. You can download graphics from there, but again, this is just for demonstration purposes, just so I can show you what I would do. So I'm going to create a game launcher that's probably around 1280. 720 I was going to go, but 640 is on this, so I don't want any distortion, so I'll leave it at that. So this is probably how big it's going to be. So what I can do is I can just start a new image. Now obviously you guys would use something like GIMP or Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever graphics program it is that you like to create your graphics in. I just tend to stick with Fireworks 8. So what I would do, what you would normally do, is you would draft up your design as an image. That's the best way to do it. So for example, if this was my lead character of my game, I could paste an image inside here like this, and I can just resize it down. And again, it's a full WYSIWYG editor, so whatever you see is what you get. So however you design it as an image is exactly how your launcher can look when you're designing it in Game Launcher Creator. So there you go. So we have her face here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give the game a made up title. So let's call this, should we call it? No, let's not call it My New Game. That's quite boring. Let's give it an actual game name. I'm going to try and not step on anyone's copyright here, so I'm going to call it Frames and History. Oh, that's a unique game title. Right, so what we do is wrap that up. I'm a big fan of this font, Open Sans, and especially Open Sans, the light version. I'm a huge fan of it. It's quite a thin font, as you can see. So again, we can design our game launcher however we want it to look as an image, and this is exactly how we can get it to look inside the Game Launcher Creator. We're not just going to import it as an image either. We're going to import it as individual components, such as the title, the images, and some buttons as well. We're going to create some buttons because obviously our launcher is going to need some buttons. What kind of colour do I need for this? Let's go for something like that. All right. So I'm going to copy that down real quick. I'm just going to bold and just take the font down slightly. Now because this is right aligned, I'm going to have to right align this as well. Let's just give it a quick prologue. A game with many twists and turns that will have you running for the hills. Just decrease that a bit more, there we go. Alright, so that's the basic overall design that we kind of want. Obviously, you can create as many complex design as you'd like for your game. There are other effects that we can put over this. So, for example, if we wanted our menu as like an overlay, we can do that. We can just simply round off the edges like so, and then we can just give it a bit of transparency like so. So we can clamp that down. I'm happy with that. Do we put a border on it? Let's have a look. Yeah, we can keep a border on it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy one of the colours from here and stick with that. There we go. Alright, so let's put some buttons in. How do we do buttons? Again, real simple. You just draft everything out as an image, like so. So I'm going to get rid of that this time. I'm going to fade the button image as well. Do we really need a button image? We don't have to have buttons. Yeah, let's stick with the buttons. Stick with the buttons. Better to be safe than sorry. There we go. Alright, let's put some text in there. So it'll be play single player. Let's get rid of that right align. Let's center it. Let's bring the font up. Let's drop that there. You can see how quick you can put together it as an image, and what better than to prototype what it should look like as an image and then all of a sudden bring it into a software like Game Launcher Creator, where within 5 minutes you can have this as a fully functioning game launcher. Play multiplayer. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the word play. We don't need that. Game options. Let's just bring these up slightly so we're more aligned. There we go. Game options. Let's we can have an exit. We can have an exit because we don't have to have the exit button up here. We can get rid of that and just have the exit on there. So this is pretty much the premise of our game launcher. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop this in the corner here and give it a 1280 by 640 like so, and then I'm going to get rid of the background. I'm going to get rid of the corners just so we've got a little border that goes around the outside, as you can see here. And then I can also drop that to the top layer. There we go. That's pretty much it done. So what we can do is we can then save that. So I'm just going to save that image. Frames history. So how do we take this and make it into a game launcher? Well, first of all, we need to fire up the Game Launcher Creator software. So we'll fire that up. And we're greeted with a welcome screen here with news and visiting Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And then once you close that off, you're presented with the projects dialog. Now you can create a new template, or you can load up an existing game launcher that you've been working on, and you can also download new templates as well. If you click this button, it'll bring up a template dialog where you can actually download new templates that are available for you to use in your game launchers, or ones that you've already got installed. You can select from here, just give it a game title, and then click new project, and it will create you a new game launcher using that template. So we're going to go for blank because we're creating our own, and we're going to call it Frames and History. That's the name of our game. New project, and Game Launcher Creator will give you a blank canvas to work from. So the software interface is, I try to make it as easy as possible. All the main functions of Game Launcher Creator, and up here is everything specific to your launcher. So the launcher properties, and whenever you click anything from this menu, this properties dialog on the right will change. So if I click on insert objects, you can see I've got the objects that I can insert. If I click on built-in updater, you can see I've got the properties for the built-in updater, and then we can build the launcher as well. So if I click on launcher properties, this gives us the main properties. So the window title is going to be Frames and History Launcher. Now minimize and close buttons, you can see here, are checked. We can uncheck that. There, here you can see, because we've got our own exit button, so we don't need that. But if you do want them in, you can just select that and then choose a colour for your minimize and close buttons. We need to specify the window size. So in our instance here, it's going to be 1280 by 640, and you can choose to use gradients or solid colours as your background, but obviously we've got a background image, so I'm going to select that. And we don't need to bother with any of this for now. Click apply, and you can see that Game Launcher Creator refreshes your window immediately. So we've got our size specified. So how do we now take this and put it into here? Alright, so I'm going to show you that right now. So what you need to do is, once you've got your image like this, you need to take all your individual elements that you're going to use and export them individually as graphics. Now, the only thing you do need to change is anything that's going to be a component. For example, this box here is not going to be a component. The user can't click on it or anything, so that's going to be part of the background image. Same with the game title. I can select all of these and the border, and if I copy that into a new image, you can see now none of this is going to change, so I might as well keep all this as one image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this as a JPEG, and we're going to put it it's ByteBox Media. Let's put it in Launcher. Launcher BG. Alright, so we can go back to Game Launcher Creator, and where we got the background here, as you can see, we can just click on load, and then it will ask us where the image is. So all we have to do is type in the path to the image, and there it is, launcher background. I'll just put that as a giant thumbnail, then you can see it. Launcher BG. So we select that, click apply, and there we go. So we have it in our launcher already. So now what we do is we need to go back to our design and just take out these individual graphics. And again, just individuals, that's all they are, just like that. So I want to have them highlighted. I want to have them quite dim when the user's not over the image, over the selection. So I'm going to change this colour to grey. That's a bit too dark. Let's have a light grey. Alright, so I need to export these ones as PNG 32 because we need a transparent background, as you can see, so a JPEG's not really going to cut it. If I didn't have any transparency in, then the JPEG would be fine. So we'll export that, so we're going to call it SP0, and then make it lighter. That's going to be SP1, so that's going to be our hover, because we can have 3 different images for the buttons. So one when the user's not hovering over the button, and we can have an image for the hover as well. So I could just really quickly change all these now. Multiplayer, revert that back to the grey. So this will be MP0. Change that to white. It'll be MP1. Game options. Might as well just export that to game options 1. Set it on grey. Game options 0. Finally, exit. So it'll be exit 0. Change that to white. Exit 1. There we go, and that's our buttons done. So now when we flick back to the Game Launcher Creator, we can start inserting some objects. So if you go to Insert Objects, and then you'll see here Button. If we click on that, you'll notice that it gives you a template button for you to work from. So what we do is we first of all choose our up image. As you can see, as soon as I click on that, it presents me the folder where I've exported all them images to. So this first one is a single player, so it's going to be single player 0, and then the hover will be single player 1. I'll not bother going through all these options unless I need to. As you can see now, the button is in. There we go. So if you ever select a component inside Game Launcher Creator, its properties will appear here where you can change everything. And as you can see, the button action for this will be to execute a game or app when the user clicks on it. So obviously I would just type in mygame.exe, so obviously that has to be in the same folder as the game launcher. If it's in a subfolder, you can just append that with something like So if it was in a subfolder called game, you would do that, game/mygame.exe. Just a little tip for Game Guru and FPS Creator users, that if you do this, it won't work with Game Guru and FPS Creator ones, because it changes the working directory of the executable when it's launched. If you go over to GameLauncherCreator.com and go onto the forums, there's a forum post I've written on there on how you can rectify that. So that would execute mygame.exe. We can choose to close the launcher upon action, so when the user clicks on single player, we can close our launcher down, or we can keep it running in the background if we deselect that. Alright, so we click on update, and then we insert object again, a new button, we bring that down here. So the next one is multiplayer, and the hover is multiplayer 1. And again, we'll probably execute something here, so it'll be mygamemp.exe. As you can see how easy it is, and you can even have pixel perfect movement on these if you use your arrow keys. If you select the object inside the editor, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to get pixel perfect movement and positioning. When you want to deselect something inside Game Launcher Creator, just right click with your mouse and it'll deselect whatever you've got selected. Alright, so again, insert button. You can see how easy this is to build up. Next one is game options. That'll be if you've got an options executable. Just like that. And then insert again, button, and exit launcher. There it is, end launcher. That's what we want it to do. So we go exit 0 and exit 1. Update, and there we go. And you can see how fast we've managed to pull that off. That is how fast you can build your launchers with Game Launcher Creator. Now, every time you click apply and update down here, it saves your game launcher, so you don't have to go to file and save and all that kind of stuff. It's already done for you. And as you can see, we also have a built-in updater, which I'll cover these before the end of the video. But at the minute, I just want to show you how quick and easy it is to do. So we can build our launcher now. We can call it launcher and click on build launcher, and Game Launcher Creator will build the launcher for you with a standalone executable, so you can distribute that with your games or distribute it to anybody you want. As you can see, everything works fine, but yeah, you can see how easy it is to build the launcher in Game Launcher Creator. Now, you'll notice that this web view is yellow and not white like these. That's because at the moment I'm trying to integrate I'm still working on it. I'm listening to the feedback that everybody's giving me, the new stuff that they want to see inside Game Launcher Creator. So I'm working on a lot of new things to put inside Game Launcher Creator, just to make sure that it's the best software possible out there. So what I'll do is I'll just run over quickly a few of these other features for you that we haven't used today. So background music is exactly what it says. If you select enabled and then choose your file, you can choose a WAV file or an MP3 file, and as soon as your launcher launches, it will start playing the music, and you can choose that to loop, or you can choose it to just, if you unselect this, deselect it, it will just play the once. You can include a splash screen into the launcher, so the splash screen is when the user runs the launcher, it will show the splash screen first, and then it will fly into your actual launcher screen like this. Insert objects, I'll just quickly run through these with you so you know what they are. This one here is a cloud image, so if you drag this into your launcher, you can actually have the launcher load an image from your website or server, which is really handy, because if you have so for example, if you have this one at byteboxmedia.co.uk sample JPEG in your game launcher, then when you update this on your server, it will also update in everyone's game launcher as well. So you don't have to use local images, because if you wanted to change a certain image, then it would mean that you'd have to issue a new version of your launcher. Whereas with the server image, you don't have to, because the launcher will grab the image from your server. So we've got insert objects, we've got local image, so you can insert a local image if you want. You can just grab one from your computer. and just display that inside here. So for example, this here doesn't have to be a part of the background. You could insert it as an image here and specify the size and the position of it. What other objects have we got? We've got a server query object. I'll get to that last because it needs a bit of an explanation. That text strings, we can insert text strings, as you can see here. So we can put in text strings. We can set the text for it. We can set the font size, the font color, and then what else have we got? Videos, we can insert videos, local videos. They're not web videos, just local videos for now. Into your launcher. So if you insert a video, it's really easy because you just insert the video like this. You choose the video file off your computer, and Game Launcher Creator will pack this video up with your launcher. So you don't have to do anything. You just literally select the file on your computer, and Game Launcher Creator will do the rest. And then finally a button, which we've covered that quite extensively. If I just select one of the buttons, I'll just show you. We've got lots of different things here. We've got execute a game or app. We can go to a web page. So for example, if one of your buttons was forums, we could send and we can also check for updates as well, which I'll get to in a second. So I want to get back to this server query one here, because this is probably the most powerful one that we've got inside Game Launcher Creator alongside the cloud image. And a server query, if you know a bit of PHP and SQL, you can grab certain data from, well, whatever data you want from your server and feed it straight into the launchers. So if you've got a multiplayer game, for example, and you want to display how many users are online or how many servers are online and whatnot, you can use the server query object to ping your server via PHP and SQL and get that data and fetch it back into the launcher. So that's a real solid feature, and I felt that was going to be one of the highlights, or the biggest highlights, of Game Launcher Creator. So it's awesome that you can communicate with your web server or your game server and liaise back and forth to show that kind of information. Now, one of the other biggest highlights of Game Launcher Creator is the built-in updater. So many people, they don't want to be writing patching systems and update systems. Well, you don't need to with the Game Launcher Creator, because you just simply select include updater, and then what you do is you have a file on your server which says what version you're using. Now this has to be an integer, can't be a float, it has to be an integer, so it has to be either version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that doesn't have to represent your actual game version, this is just an internal number for you guys to use, and that checks it against the version file that you have shipped with your game. So if you're on version 1, for example, and you've built your game, you've built your game launcher, and you ship it out with an installer, then obviously it's going to be version 1 inside the local text file. Or it doesn't have to be a text file, it can be an ini file, it can be anything you want. And then on your server you would have version 1 as well, so that when the user clicks on update, it will check that you've got version 1 installed and it's version 1 on the server, and it will say no updates available. However, when you release a new update, all you do is upload your installer to your web server and then change the web server to value 2. So then when they click on update, they will see that the local version says 1 and the online version says 2, and then it will realize that there's an update available, and then you just specify the link to the update executable here. Game Launcher Creator will download it for the user, it will then execute the installer as well, so they can install the latest version. It's really as simple as that. It's just 3 things: your server text file, your local text file, and then the download, the link to the download as well. So you can see how easy it is to build your very own game launcher with Game Launcher Creator. It's one of the most exciting things I've worked on, because it's such a needed tool, and we've got some great feedback from users. We have a beta testing group as well that does a lot of testing for us, and as you can see, I'm still proactively working on it constantly all the time to integrate new features. It's currently a Sunday morning and I'm still working, so I'm going to be working till tonight anyway. I don't care, I'm just going to crack on. I thought I would do this video for you guys just to give you a better introduction to at least version 1.5. Even though it is the development version that I'm using, not the live production version. But yeah, that's how easy it is to use. So if you've not got Game Launcher Creator, make sure you head over to the website gamelaunchercreator.com. You can check it out more there as well. There's some documentation on there, there's tutorials, and obviously you can download it now if you've not got it either. But that's all the way over at GameLauncherCreator.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook. We've also got a YouTube channel for ByteBox Media, and we've got a Discord channel as well if you want to get affiliated with the Discord and want to get chatting to me or some of the other users of Game Launcher Creator. You can check all that out. I'll put them all in the links below on this video. Thanks for checking it out. I'm Danny from ByteBox Media, and I'll see you guys in the next video.